We all experience it.
Oh, for sure.
It's January 1st, or maybe the start of a new project, and you just hit it with this massive burst of motivation. You swear you're going to become, like, 100% better overnight.
A total revolution.
Exactly. In your career, your health, your finances.
Yeah.
But then, a few weeks later,
That motivation is just gone, and
Yeah.
you're right back where you started.
so the big question is, why is lasting, sustainable change so incredibly difficult?
Well, what our sources suggest is that the difficulty isn't really in us. It's in our strategy.
Okay, so it's not a personal failing.
Not at all. We rely almost entirely on willpower and this, motivational energy. But that energy is finite.
It runs out.
It runs out. If we want true transformation, we need a reliable system. What we're diving into today is exactly that. A proven systemic framework for building good habits and breaking bad ones.
It's all based on this idea of atomic habits.
Right. These small, consistent actions that just compound over time.
That is the core of our mission today. For anyone out there who feels totally overwhelmed by the idea of some massive life overhaul, this deep dive is your shortcut.
Yeah.
We're going to distill the 4 simple yet really powerful laws for behavior change and, just as importantly, the critical mindset shifts that make success feel, well, inevitable.
Not just a lucky streak.
Right. Not just a matter of luck.
And to really understand the power of this system, we have to start with the concept of compounding. Habits are often called the compound interest of self-improvement.
And that analogy is brilliant because with money, we get it immediately.
We do.
A small amount, consistently added and reinvested, and it just multiplies exponentially over decades.
Yeah.
But when we apply that logic to our behavior, we lose all patience.
We want the payoff immediately.
And that's the central psychological hurdle, right? If you improve by just 1% every day for a whole year, you end up 37 times better by the end of it.
37 times. That's huge. It's huge. But conversely, if you decline by 1% every day, you approach 0. The difference between a single good day and a single bad day is, it's negligible.
I barely notice it.
But the difference between those two trajectories over 5 years, it's astonishing.
It's the difference between success and failure, really. And it's separated by weeks, maybe months, of feeling like you're not doing anything.
Yes.
You're improving, but you're in what the source calls the valley of latent potential.
The valley of latent potential. You don't see that massive change until you finally hit the tip point.
Right.
Precisely. And the classic real-world example of this mechanism is the complete transformation of British cycling.
Oh, this story is amazing.
For over a century, they were just underperforming on the international stage,
Pretty mediocre, really.
But in 2003, they brought in a new performance director, Dave Brailsford, and he introduced a revolutionary concept, the aggregation of marginal gains.
Which sounds very technical.
It does.
But this wasn't about finding one miracle solution. It was about improving every single aspect of cycling by just 1%.
And when you say every single aspect, you mean everything.
Everything.
Absolutely. We're talking about improvements in the obvious areas. The aerodynamics of the bike, the training schedule, rider nutrition.
Sure, the stuff you'd expect.
But then it extended into this obsessive level of detail, figuring out which pillow led to the best sleep for each individual athlete.
The pillow.
The pillow, painting the inside of the team truck white so they could spot any little speck of dust that might affect the finely tuned bikes.
That sounds almost ridiculous, doesn't it? Worrying about dust in the truck.
It does. Even teaching the mechanics how to wash their hands properly to minimize germ transmission.
But when you add up 50 different 1% improvements,
suddenly you are dramatically better than the competition.
The proof is really in the results, isn't it?
It is. Within 5 years of implementing these tiny tweaks, Great Britain just dominated the 2008 Olympic Games. They won a staggering 60% of the available gold medals in cycling.
From perpetual underdogs to a global powerhouse.
Just by focusing on consistency and small gains, not massive overhauls.
So the actionable insight from all this is consistency over intensity.
That's it.
Start with a tiny habit reading for 10 minutes, drinking 1 extra glass of water, and make it so easy you just cannot refuse.
The goal isn't the big result today.
No, it's just showing up and casting that vote for the person you want to become.
And critically, track it. That visual proof in X on a calendar or a line in a journal, it becomes physical evidence of your effort.
And that feeds back into your motivation loop and builds momentum.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack the system itself. This framework gives us 4 simple laws for designing better habits. We start with designing the process to make good habits, well, unavoidable.
Law number 1 is make it obvious. This focuses entirely on our environment.
But wait, isn't designing my environment just a fancy word for avoidance?
How do you mean?
Well, if I want to stop eating chips, shouldn't I be relying on willpower to resist them rather than just throwing them away? How is this different from willpower, which we just said runs dry?
That's a great question, and it gets right to the heart of the system. We dramatically underestimate how much our environment dictates our choices subconsciously.
So it's not a conscious fight.
Exactly. Willpower is fighting a battle every single day. Designing your environment means you win the war before the battle even starts. We are highly reactive creatures.
Responding to cues we don't even notice.
Constantly, visual and physical cues.
We have a perfect illustration of this from that hospital cafeteria study.
Yes, with physician Anne Thorndike.
Right. She wanted the hospital staff to make healthier drink choices, but she explicitly avoided an educational campaign.
So no lectures, no posters, no moralizing.
None of that.
Instead, she just manipulated the environment. She placed bottled water next to every cash register and in every prominent location in the cafeteria.
Making it the default, most visible choice.
Exactly. Meanwhile, she stocked soda far out of sight.
The genius is the simplicity. She didn't change the options available.
No.
She just changed the presentation.
And the results were so powerful. Soda sales dropped by over 11%, and bottled water sales increased by almost 26%.
In a matter of months.
In months, nobody was told what they should do. The environment simply made the healthy choice the path of least resistance.
You don't need motivation if the good habit is right in front of your face.
That's it.
So the takeaway for all of us is to perform a kind of habit audit. Look at your home, your workspace.
Make cues for good habits obvious.
Right. Put your meditation cushion right in the middle of the room. And make cues for bad habits invisible.
Like moving those distracting social media apps off your phone's home screen.
Exactly. So you have a search for them. That 1 second of friction can make all the difference.
That visibility is key. And it leads directly into law number 2. Make it attractive. We have to leverage the way our brain is wired for immediate reward, which is driven by dopamine feedback loops.
So how do we make the things we dread doing appealing?
We use something called temptation bundling.
Temptation bundling.
This is where you strategically pair an activity you absolutely need to do with an activity you absolutely want to do.
You hook your desired reward to the necessary chore.
Yes. The source illustrates this with the story of Ronan Byrne, an engineering student who wanted to watch Netflix but knew he needed to exercise more.
A classic dilemma.
He combined his desire and his need.
And his solution was fantastic leverage. He rigged his stationary bike to his laptop so that Netflix would only play while he was cycling at a minimum speed.
So if he slowed down,
Netflix paused.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
He essentially used his powerful desire for a dopamine hit the show to transform a dreadful high-friction task
Cycling.
into a pleasurable, desirable activity. He made the habit attractive by linking it to something he already craved.
This seems incredibly clever, but let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
What if the desired activity like Netflix is vastly more appealing than the chore? Will the pairing actually overcome genuine resistance?
That's a fair point. It's not about making the chores fun necessarily. It's about making them tolerable because the reward is so imminent.
So the key is the immediacy.
The trick is making the pairing rigid. You create a rule. I only get to listen to that favorite true crime podcast while I'm doing the dishes. Or I only get to call my best friend and gossip while I'm walking on the treadmill.
You're bridging the gap between the present effort and the future payoff.
You are.
So the action item here is to make 2 lists. Your needs, chores, exercise, whatever, and your wants.
Entertainment, relaxation.
And then you pair them up, making the highly desired activity the access key to the habit you want to build.
Exactly. And moving from attraction to execution, we reach law number 3. Make it easy.
Okay.
We need to focus all our energy on removing friction from the path of action.
The simpler a behavior is to start, the more likely it is to be repeated.
Right. If you want to increase your chance of doing something, decrease the number of steps required to begin it.
That's why we see high performers focusing on the very first step.
Consider the famous dancer and choreographer Twyla Tharp. Her daily ritual isn't about the grueling dance practice itself.
It's about the simplest act of showing up.
Every morning she wakes up, dresses, and hails a taxi to the gym.
And she defines the ritual as complete the moment she tells the driver where to go.
Right. She doesn't have to worry about the workout yet. She just has to master that tiny 2-minute act of starting the journey.
That brings us to what might be the most practical strategy in this entire system,
The 2-minute rule.
the 2-minute rule. Any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to perform.
The real goal is to master the art of showing up, not mastering the task itself.
This is such a critical psychological anchor, especially for the listener who often feels overwhelmed by information overload.
Yes.
If my habit is simply to put on my running shoes, then I've succeeded, even if I don't leave the house,
That small win protects your self-image.
and makes the next step actually running easier tomorrow.
Absolutely. If you want to read more, the goal is to read 1 page. If you want to meditate, the goal is to sit down for 60 seconds. We focus on the tiny entrance ritual.
Because once we start doing the right thing, the momentum often carries us forward.
It does.
Now we get to the sticky wicket. How do we ensure that action is repeated? That requires law number 4. Make it satisfying.
We must bridge that psychological gap between the present cost and the delayed reward.
Our brains are just wired for immediate gratification.
They are. If an action feels good now, we repeat it. Most productive habits, like saving money or going to the gym, feel hard now, but the benefit is months or years away.
So we need to create immediate satisfaction for those future-focused habits.
We have to manufacture it.
The public health story from Pakistan in the late 90s demonstrates this so beautifully.
Right. Researchers tried to increase hand washing rates with education, focusing on germs and disease.
And it failed.
Totally failed. People knew they should wash their hands, but the motivation just waned.
Then came the breakthrough.
The breakthrough came when they introduced a new premium soap. This soap wasn't just antibacterial, it was scented, it lathered easily, and it just felt luxurious.
So suddenly hand washing had an immediate, highly satisfying reward.
Clean, fresh-smelling, soft hands.
It's amazing how much we underestimate the power of instant gratification over pure, rational thought.
A simple, pleasurable smell was more effective than lectures about disease prevention.
And the immediate reward made the habit stick.
And persist long after the study concluded. For us, the actionable takeaway is to manufacture that immediate satisfaction. Saving money.
Label your savings transfer future freedom or dream vacation every time you move the money.
That small, positive emotional connection is your immediate reward.
And connecting back to what we said earlier, marking that X on the calendar is crucial.
Yes.
That visually satisfying proof of progress is a form of immediate gratification for your long-term goal.
These systems, obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, they are incredibly powerful on their own. But they are strongest when they align with a deeper, crucial mindset shift.
Identity-based habits.
Identity-based habits.
This is where we stop focusing on the outcome, like losing 10 pounds or writing a book, and start focusing on who we wish to become.
Exactly. The most powerful change is intrinsic because it changes the very foundation of your choices.
So if I say, I want to write a novel, that's an outcome. But if I say, I am a writer, that's an identity.
And the two drive wildly different behaviors.
The source gives the example of a struggling student named Ben.
Right, who kept failing at his academic goals until he shifted his focus. He stopped thinking about the goal.
And started asking, what would the kind of person I want to be do right now?
He wasn't setting out to earn a degree. He was setting out to become a curious, disciplined student. He started reading more, attending literary events.
Writing daily, even if it was just for a minute.
And every single one of those small choices he made became a tangible vote for the type of person you want to become.
So you essentially decide on your desired identity. I am a healthy person, or I am a person who finishes projects.
And then you let that identity drive your 2-minute rule habits.
A healthy person chooses water over soda.
A disciplined person automatically puts their tools away after using them. The more votes you cast, the stronger your identity becomes.
And the easier it is to maintain the habit.
It becomes automatic.
All of this sounds fantastic when the chain is perfect, but let's talk about reality.
Okay.
We're going to slip up. We're going to miss a day. What happens when life happens and the chain breaks? Does the whole system just collapse?
Absolutely not. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people isn't that one never fails.
It's that one knows how to recover quickly.
Yes. The key to long-term success is resilience. And the critical rule here is simple. Never miss twice.
That immediately lowers the pressure, doesn't it?
So much.
If I miss Monday, the entire focus of my Tuesday is just ensuring I get back on track no matter how tiny the action is.
That's right. If you miss one day, It's an accident. If you miss 2 days, you're starting a new negative habit.
The focus has to be on preventing that second slip-up.
It does. Jerry Seinfeld, with his famous don't break the chain method for writing, never worried about the quality of his joke.
He's just worried about putting that red X on the calendar.
He didn't have to write a masterpiece, just write something. His only job was to not break the chain.
So you use failure as a learning moment.
Right. If you slipped up, analyze what went wrong. Did your environment sabotage you? Did you try to do too much?
And then have a predefined plan for recovery.
Exactly. If you miss the gym on Tuesday, your recovery plan is to do a 10-minute floor routine at home first thing Wednesday morning.
You focus on the overall positive trend of progress, not the individual slip-up.
That's it.
So to bring this all back together for you, the learner, we've analyzed the power of compounding, where that 1% improvement leads to exponential gains.
And we've unpacked the 4 laws, make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying.
Remember, transformation comes not from relying on that fleeting burst of motivation,
but from building robust, predictable systems that allow the habits to basically run on autopilot.
The ultimate truth distilled from our sources, the quote that should really stick with you, is this: you do not rise to the level of your goals.
You fall to the level of your systems.
That's so powerful.
It is. You now have the system, and you understand that every single action you take is a powerful, small vote for the person you ultimately want to become.
So here's our final thought for you to carry forward. Knowing that you only need a tiny 2-minute win to successfully cast a vote for your desired identity, what specific, almost effortless habit will you commit to starting tomorrow to cast your first vote?